My company is, the name is Abusol, Agribusiness Solution, which is produce the feed for poultry, for ruminants, or for pigs. And we have also a farm, of layers farm, to demonstrate that our feeds are very efficient. So we combine to produce the feeds and to manage a layers farm. My role, and I'm a promoter of the project and the director manager of the company. There is a big change because in Africa today, the population grows very quickly and the needs in protein now are very high. So the demand of protein. So the change, in the past, many population, they like to eat local protein, local chicken, but now they begin to understand that it is very necessary to accept the change and to eat the meat from the broiler, for example. Because in the past, they didn't like it, but now they accept it because the importance is to have a protein, not to consider that is a local broiler is quickly produced or not. So the change are there. And another thing, they begin to use the feeds, the complete feeds, because many farmers in the past, they produce themselves. They mix raw materials without put the vitamin and everything. And now they begin also to see the importance of to reduce the antibiotic. Because in the past, many farmers think that if they have a problem, they have to bring immediately to use the antibiotic. But now they understand that the good prevention is to use just complete feed, which is very efficient. Yes, and farming in Africa, so we have many challenges, but the first challenge is the raw materials. To produce the feeds and to produce more animals production, we need the protein. And the raw materials which is very rich in protein is the soja. But in Africa, in this part of Africa, they don't produce more soja. So they have to import. They import it from India and from Ethiopia. But now, the first challenge, I think, is to have a protein vegetable. And the second challenge is how to manage in a good condition a farm, the knowledge. In Africa, we don't have many school, university for nutrition, for farming. We have the veterinary, but they learn in the school how to give them medication, but not how to manage a farm. So that is a second challenge. Another challenge is, in Africa now, if you have to bring the raw material, it is transport. Because many products come from Europe, from Asia. But if they come, for example, our region, they pass by Dar es Salaam port or Mombasa. But from Mombasa, from Dar es Salaam to Kigali, for example, it is around 1,500 kilometers, 1,500 kilometers. So we have to use the road and the truck. So I think when we have a possibility to use the train, it will be very easy and more expensive. But now it is a big problem because the products come in Africa, in our part, are very, very expensive. So the solution comes when we must reply to the challenge I cited. If we can, the country, in region, they begin integration of region. So now, for example, you can use the raw material come from Uganda. And the border are open 24 hours. That is the solution. If we are full integration, so we can share information, we can buy the raw materials in another country, and that is a solution. A second solution, if we can put in place the school, who can learn how to prepare to produce good feeding, or how to manage the farms. So we need it because we have more young. So these young, they need to learn how to manage the farm. Another solution can be if you can have a factory who can produce the premix in place. Because in the region, we don't produce the premix. So you have to buy from Europe. So if we can bring a factory near of the consumer, near of the farmers, so they can reduce the distance and the time and help the farmers to be competitive if you compare with the European or Asiatic farmers. Yes. No, okay, my company is small, but we try to bring a new approach of farming. I try to benefit my experience. I got it from Europe because I spent around 16 years in Europe. So now we can say that my company, my farm, is as a pilot to demonstrate that the new approach we can maximize, optimize, and to add the performance of animals. So many farmers, they come to see if we can add the performance of the animals. You know, in Africa, we can't add the numbers of the chicken, the cows, and the pigs. But we can add performance of animals. If, for example, the chicken, they can lay up to over 400 eggs. Now they lay around less 300 eggs. So if we can add the performance, and they come to see what I can produce in myself, in my farm, so I think I contribute to bring the solution and to increase the production in our region.